Welcome to Crypt Theory, where we go into the mysterious, the unknown, and the dark horrors of the real world. Let's get into it. Today, we are going into the very, very deep, the deep darkness, where we're going to talk about a big squid, aka the Kraken. Out of all the cryptids we've covered so far, I believe this one would be the most likely to actually be real, because I'm just thinking it through and seeing it how it's very possible, because scientists have found giant squids before and all that good stuff. The specific talking about the Kraken is a so-called mythical beast. It's possible. This is probably one of the most probable cryptids to actually be real. It's off the coast of Norway and Greenland, so that's always interesting to see. A giant squid, described from countless sailor stories, ancient text. Tales where the tales begun, and is there any truth? So the truth I see there is a possibility it was these giant squids, and over the years of when man started to travel with boats and stuff, like sea travel, it started pushing all these creatures down further. As I said last episode, we don't have much information. We don't have much information about the ocean, so it could. This is a high possibility of actually being real. First reference dates back to the 13th century, in a work called Konungs Skugshaw. Or the King's Mirror. Okay. Written around 1250 AD. Author describes a creature large enough to be mistaken for an island. This creature, the Kraken, pulled ships, cruised into the abyss. The basic Kraken story. This is another very well-known one, popularized by media and video games. This is one of the ones that's popularized by video games mainly, which is interesting. That is just the beginning of it, though. Over the centuries, many accounts the Kraken have surfaced, like in the 18th century, described in more detail by Eric Pontoppidan. Or I'm butchering that name. Sorry for that. The Bishop of Bergen. In his work, Natural History of Norway, published in 1752, he recounted tales of the beast so massive that its body could cause whirlpools capable of sinking ships. So that pulls from, now there's it's conflicting theories. Because it says it grabs them and pulls them under. Now it's saying it creates whirlpools that can pull them under. At the same time, it could just be two different ways. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'm gonna call the writer Poe, because I don't want to mess up his name a lot. So Poe's description paints a terrifying picture. He wrote, this is his quote. It said that if a Kraken appears, the best way to row for your life or for nothing can withstand its grasp. So back onto it will grab your ship and just pull that bit under, which is interesting. The idea of a Kraken is enormous, ship-destroying and territory, deeply rooted in maritime folklore. So that is that Greenland, Norway area. So, and it's funny how this is a creature that has been said to be sighted all over the ocean. I think this and the Yeti would be the big two. If I had to pick two cryptids that are probably the most well known around the world, I would have to say this and probably the Kraken or the sea serpent. All right. So the truth of these stories can be debated. Scientists, historians have debated this for so long. It could be the legends inspired by real sea creatures, as I said earlier, like the giant squid. But at the same time, it could just be a even bigger squid. And as humanity traveled with boats for so long, it just slowly pushed everything just slowly deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So to an extent, this could be as realistic as it's been said to be. The giant squid, the Architeuthis ducks. That's a scientific name, I believe. A real marine animal, yep, grows up to 43 feet long, which that's huge. Okay, it's not large enough to be mistaken for an island by all means, but an encounter of one, could certainly have been enough to spark tales. That is reasonable. And that is completely reasonable. But at the same time, it's very, how do I say, it's still very possible. And I think until we are able to explore the ocean more than we already have as human beings, we will get all that good stuff out of it. So, that's interesting. I want to go a little bit into the biology of the giant squid, just to compare it to what the legend says about the Kraken and all that stuff. So these creatures live in very, very deep ocean, rarely come to the surface, make them mysteries for many centuries. It wasn't until, I think, 19th century scientists began to study them seriously. In 1857, Danish naturalist Japetus Steenstrup formally described the giant squid after examining a beach specimen. Which I think would be very rare because of how deep these things just sit for one to be washed up on the shore. Steenstrup's work was groundbreaking, to say the least. Proved for scientific evidence that such a large cephalopod, that's what they're called, existed. Or squid, giving a possible explanation for the Kraken myths. So this is a huge possibility, but with every discovery, sightings remain rare. I mainly believe that's just because of how deep they reside and how deep their habitat truly is. So they're not going to be seen by us a lot until one day when we get the technology to be able to go that deep and stay there for several days, months, or even years, or have some way of forming a underwater Atlantis type thing that would work for us. Something from like Star Wars, where the Jar Jar Binks realm or his home or whatever. Let's fast forward to 21st century where we are now. Incredible strive in excluding these elusive giant creatures. In 2004, Japanese researchers captured the first images of a live giant squid in its natural habitat. 2012, a team led by Senumi Kobadora filmed a live giant squid in the Pacific Ocean. So this is very interesting of how it's on the Pacific Ocean when I would think it would be in the Atlantic. The Kraken stories retained in the Atlantic. So it's interesting. But at the same time, these giant squids probably move so much. It's impossible to say. Modern encounters have fueled our understanding and fascination with the giant squid. But let's not forget, the legend of the Kraken is not just about size. It's about also the fear, the mystery, and the unknown depths of the ocean. Why the Kraken is so big is because so many people are fascinated with what's down deeper. We know sharks exist. We know giant squids exist. But what is truly down deeper? Is that giant squid just a medium squid compared to what's actually down there, compared to a Kraken-like creature? That's just going to stand the test of time, and we'll have to figure out when science gets to that point. The Kraken does symbolize true danger of the sea, a representation of the perils that sailors face, storms, rogue waves, and all the unknown creatures all contributed to the myth. The Kraken, it might be a product of human imagination, but it is rooted in real experiences and fear of the truly unknown of the depths of the ocean. So that's just saying it's very interesting to me how it's going on about all this. Yeah, I mean, from what I've learned and what I've read, the Kraken's supposed to bring storms, bring whirlpools, bring whirlwinds, bring all this bad stuff when you're sailing across the ocean and you got no land near you. So there is that, all that good stuff. And let's also not overlook the artistic impact of the Kraken. It's inspired so many movies, so many works of fiction, so many amazing works, so many amazing books, and a lot of good games that have some type of Kraken as a boss or something in it. From Jules Verne's 20,000 Legacies Under the Sea to modern movies and, as I said, literature. It's the Kraken is probably the top symbol of the unknown and uncharted sea that we have, which is very interesting. So I'm gonna wrap this up here. And Kraken, just really, really interesting myth to get into if you want to go more into that. It represents the ancestors' attempts to explain the unexplainable and to grapple the vastness of the ocean we have. Even today, we explore those depths, and we still don't know what's truly down there. In the next episode, we will be staying in the deep waters, but instead of a squid, we're going to be talking about a big shark, none other than the megalodon. We're just going to have to figure out if it's real or not next time. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you hit the like and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and I will catch you in the next one.